Welcome to our second lesson on the character of Napoleon in Animal Farm. Today we are focusing on Napoleon's second characteristic, his paranoia. Our focus today will be on understanding how Napoleon is presented as a deeply paranoid leader, consumed by fear and mistrust. We'll explore how his paranoia manifests, from his obsession with the threat posed by Snowball to his draconian surveillance measures and even the public executions he orchestrates. We'll also consider how Napoleon's character fits into Orwell's wider commentary on the rise of the Soviet Union. Napoleon's fear of rivals and dissenters reveals his paranoia, as he constantly suspects others of plotting against him. This anxiety drives him to extreme measures to eliminate perceived threats and maintain his grip on power. He starts to plot against Snowball, which is evident through Squealer's exclamation that
Snowball was in league with Jones from the very start. He was Jones's secret agent all the time.
Despite Snowball's significant contributions to the farm, Napoleon fabricates this accusation to discredit him, much like Stalin rewrote history to discredit Trotsky's contributions to the Bolshevik Revolution. Like Stalin, this demonstrates Napoleon's fear of rivals, which leads him to feel obliged to eliminate any threats to his authority. His paranoia drives him to create a narrative that ensures no one questions his leadership or sympathizes with his opponent. The reader must judge whether Napoleon believes his own paranoid narrative or whether he simply intends others to do so. The demonizing of others allows the tyrant to be perceived as angelic by comparison. Secondly, Napoleon's increased surveillance and repressive measures reveal his paranoia, as he obsessively monitors the animals and harshly punishes any signs of dissent. This is because he has an extreme fear of losing control. As demonstrated in a passage from Chapter 7, which says, Napoleon ordered the hen's rations to be stopped and decreed that any animal giving so much as a grain of corn to a hen should be punished by death. This quote shows Napoleon's response to the hens' rebellion, which was to cut off their rations and threaten death for any form of assistance, showcasing his fear. Napoleon's use of such strict measures signifies his obsessive need to suppress any dissent among the animals. This overreaction to what was in fact a minor rebellion underscores his deep-seated fear that even the smallest act of defiance could escalate into a larger threat to his authority, and demonstrates Napoleon's paranoia and obsessive desire to maintain control on the farm. Therefore, as Napoleon becomes increasingly cruel and paranoid, the similarities between his own and Stalin's tyrannical reign become clearer. Further, Orwell encourages his readers to draw comparisons between his fictional novel and its allegorical meaning through the way that the pigs exhibit increasingly human behavior, including walking on two legs. Our final point to explore today is how Napoleon's public executions and forced confessions expose his intense paranoia. He resorts to these brutal tactics to eradicate any possible threats, reflecting his fear of opposition and his relentless need to assert dominance through terror. This is vividly depicted in Chapter 7, which says, Napoleon, who had remained on his feet, uttered a high-pitched whimper. Immediately the dogs bounded forward, seized 4 of the pigs by the ear and dragged them, squealing with pain and terror, to Napoleon's feet. This scene provides us with a stark illustration of Napoleon's escalating paranoia, which, as mentioned in our first lesson, is similar to Stalin's Great Terror, more normally referred to as the Great Purge. In order to safeguard his rule, he accuses innocent animals of conspiracy, forces them to confess under duress, and then ruthlessly executes them. These actions are designed to instill a palpable fear among the animals, deterring them from any thoughts of rebellion against his rule. It's clear that Napoleon's paranoia gets the better of him, making him see non-existent treachery everywhere. This ingrained fear drives him to maintain power by spreading terror and employing intimidation, showing us the destructive potential of paranoia in positions of power. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. We examined Napoleon's fear of rivals, illustrated by his baseless accusations against Snowball to eliminate perceived threats. We also discussed his increased surveillance and harsh punishments, such as the severe treatment of the hens, which highlight his obsessive need to suppress any dissent. Lastly, we looked at how his public executions and forced confessions reflect his extreme paranoia, driving him to use terror to maintain his grip on power. These examples demonstrate how Napoleon's paranoia fuels his tyrannical actions, ultimately showcasing the destructive nature of paranoia in leadership. Importantly, Orwell based his character upon the real figure of Joseph Stalin, who rose to power in a similar way. Remember to keep revising this lesson and see you next time.